Well, as I'm sure you're well aware, this is my flying V. I love this flying V, but really, that's not what I'm here to talk about. The flying V, this is a standard. I mean, for me in here, measuring tone, this is where, like metal tone, it gets measured on this, and why not? I mean, look at it. This is called the Bloody V, and it is the most wonderful job coagulating blood. You know, I just adore this guitar. I adore it. You know, somebody put so much work into this and sold it so cheap. You know, I made out like a bandit on this. You know, it's like ebony fretboard, like stainless steel frets, like locking machine heads, you know, tone pros top and bottom, you know, decent set of pickups, like everything's spot on with this guitar. Everything is spot on. But you know what they done is they done their own finish. Like they changed so much stuff, like did it themselves, and it's not like 100% perfect, right? And so they, like, you know, well, it is. I think, you know, it's perfect for me, but it's not perfect for a shop. Do you understand? Like it's too rough. It's got too much homemadeness about it. You know, it looks fine here, but when you look at it close, right? What I'm saying, all the measurements are fine. Everything's sound, like playability-wise, 100%. But it's just not like finished. Like it looks homemade, right? Do you know what I mean? You can see like where the mask, you know, where the tape masked it and these things that you don't get with production guitars. But the work he done, and he's a guy I keep in touch with now, the work he done is fucking marvellous, you know. And I will see him again, you know. I will see him again. You know, I keep in touch with him and I inquire, you got anything else? Because he's got like a metal bit. But you know, this is a set neck guitar. This is a wonderful companion to my Les Paul. You know, if I was ever doing a stage, like it would be these two. You know, they're quite, you know, they're totally different, but they're very similar, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is just an all-out heavy metal machine. I love playing solos on it because it's got a wonderful, like, clubby, you know, 50s neck, sort of. It's actually very much like, you know, the only vintage 58V that I ever played, you know, and that had a neck which actually was similar. So it's like, I think, you know, they looked at the classic Vs and took some notes. You know, there's some bits of 67 in this, and there's some bits of 58, and obviously there's some areas where it like goes all on its own. Now, something I'm thinking about, and I'm genuinely thinking about, is going all black fittings, okay, getting rid of these and putting some proper machine heads on. You know, I don't like locking machine heads, simple as, right? You know, and I put a poker chip there, you know, and I changed the knobs from, like, you know, the knurled metal ones to sort of Gibson speed knob styles, you know, what was on a V. And it's like I'm just nudging it back into that direction because it is so extreme in other ways. Now, something I thought about replacing the boomerang, and then I thought, nah, you know, I don't want to put a boomerang there because I might have to adjust the holes and blah de blah. But what I might do, and because this actual body style suits it, is Bigsby. I've seen black Bigsbys, right? Like, and you know, Bigsby copies, right? I've seen black ones, right? And I actually know a few, which I'll do when I get one and show it off. I'll show you like the little sneaky things that I do with a Bigsby to make a cheap one work really well. Well, not all of them, but the ones that I can get hold of. And but that is a great platform, okay, for a D, you know, a horseshoe Bigsby, because you can get the one with the metal bracket. Well, I don't want to go that route. I like, you know, like the long tail with the metal bracket. You know, that's the most extreme looking like heavy metal machine that nobody's ever used, and they should do it. So I've only seen it used for blues. But you know, the one that I like is the one with the horseshoe. Right, and it doesn't need the metal bracket, and that's my favourite, and that's what I want to do with this, I think. Anyway, I'm thinking about it. So get like a black roller bridge, and the black Bigsby, and fucking Bob's your uncle and Fanny's your aunt. Anyway, like, we're really here. Like, I don't know what it sounds like there to you, like, because you're behind the speaker. So this is where I started. Well, I'm basically, let's go through a little story of evolution, okay? This is where I started. The Flying V is where I started. Antoria 1978 Antoria Flying V. I tell you, these PAF copies are really quite good. Because that's what they are. They're literally Chinese PAF copies, right? But they're built to. They're not like the worst. You know, they're built to a fairly good standard. You know, like wax potted and like cloth. Actually, I don't know that they're wax potted. I'm just assuming that. But yeah, if ever I've got doubts of like, you know, if I got like any guitars that are metal enough, I only have to come over to this corner and that question's fucking answered, you know. Like, there's no doubting and debating, like, this is a all-out, you know, fucking thrash guitar. Okay, like, I haven't gone for the gnarliest pickups, and it actually did come with EMGs in it, and, you know, did a deal, but, like, fucking, this is how I like it to be voiced, you know. I don't, you know, this is all going to come out in this conversation. It's like, you know, I like a mix of traditional and modern, and it's like I find for certain things it's like high you know, high impedance pickups that are like, you know, really geared towards heavy metal aren't always the best freaking pickups for heavy metal, because they're, you know, they can lack a certain high output pickups can sort of drive an amp and lack the give and take. Like, they push too hard, and so they lack a certain give and take that you get with, like, I know this sounds stupid, but compared to like a much lower output pickup, and you start getting this sort of give and take, there's like a sort of back and forth. It's hard to describe, but there's more action, there's more reaction, you know, there's much more player input, you know, like registered in the final sound. Like with the high output pickup, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's just like too much of a ping, 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 and you're not getting the nuance. So like where I used to very much be a proponent of high output pickups, like I've backed off from that quite a degree. I like having some, you know, I like having a mix in the tonal palette. And as far as live guitars go, like I'm kind of in the middle, not too hot, not too crazy, kind of Jeff Beck territory. Hate to sound boring and just the same as everyone else, but it's like in that sort of territory. PAFs. The Vox, which is holding JCM 800 with a tube screamer, but however it sounds, it's going to be relative because what's going next. So yeah, so you think this sounds pretty goddamn heavy, right? And the important aspect is this is like, you know, the Gibson configuration. You know, you've got the Tune-o-matic, you know, an ABR one in this case, quite a nice one. And that scale length, right? The 24, you know, 24 3/4 scale length. And the humbuckers, right? Now, one thing you've got to have with that combination, there isn't any, like, fucking film grain in the sound. Like with a Strat, with all those, like, string trees and Heath Robinson tremolo springs, right? You've got a lot of fucking rattle and chattel. Okay, so the Yamaha, it's a Strat after a fashion. Okay, we've got like the, you know, but it's also a bit more civilized. They've backed off like from a lot of the rinky dink. But just a humbucker. Not massively different from the V, right? But there is a ching 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 in the background. going, so you know, where do I want to be? So that's your Gibson territory, and this is your more sort of Strat territory. And so, like, I had got a guitar very similar to this, an Ibanez Geo, which I gave away once I'd sort of finished it. And I got it for 50 quid off of my dear departed friend John Stevens, because I didn't know what I wanted, and that was a HSH, you know, just like this, just not as classy as this. You know, I've made this one classy, you know. And the first thing I did was cut the tone circuit out, because, you know, I wanted to go hot, like Van Halen style. I reversed that after a while. When I got the next guitar, like, I reversed that. I found out, you know, at first I just wanted like that pure metal output. Then after a while I got more nuanced again. This is 2016, after not playing electric for 10 years and just being acoustic for 10 years, right? I got rendered homeless like around 2005, and I'd, you know, big heroin habit, just sold all my electric guitar stuff. I had some really great stuff. You'll hear me waffle on about it, it's crap no one wants to hear. But anyway, this Yamaha. Jack of all trades, does a bit of everything, you know, you can get it into that single coil. Undeniably versatile. So you think, oh yeah, that's pretty heavy, right? But you know, so I ended up, you would have seen the F-types, and this is where I ended up as my main axe. 2016, bought two of them for studio and stage. This was always meant to be the studio one and have a modification, which is now done. And the black one was always meant to be the live one, and that was going to have like the top pickups, top electronics, and just keep it as is and simple. This one was always meant to be kept stock, so we know where we're going. Anyway, this again, it's got the Strat scale length, it's got touches of Strat and touches of Gibson. You know, you've got, okay, you've got the angled 3-a-side headstock, but to a bolt-on neck, which is like the Ibanez joint. That was a big selling point. You know, you've got the body, which is really a mix of like SG and Strat stylings in there. It's all in there. You've got like this and now this, which is splittable. But let's just stick with the humbucker. And now, you know, you think, you know what, the Flying V is going to be as heavy as it gets, and the Yamaha not far off, but with a different flavour, and then you hear this. I mean, this is an absolute metal monster. This really is tweaked to metal. LTD know what they're doing. Like, it sounds wicked clean and all that. We'll do this another day, but like, so this is where I ended up, right? Here, really happy, really fucking happy. And I've got two of these, use them all the time. I will be like using this now that it's like back to like I've repaired the frets and I've upgraded the electronics. This motherfucker is going to be used all the time. I adore this guitar. you know, but it's so focused to metal. Like, it's like they really know what they're doing, LTD. I'll say it again, they really know what they're doing. It's like got all the shreddability of an Ibanez. Anyway, then I bought a Strat. Not just any Strat, I bought the Strat. I wanted the best I could get, and I managed to get an ESP body and a Tokai neck. Both from the mid-80s, both top end. Right. Then I got like some good electronics. And then I had a humbucker left over from upgrading the black LTD. Now I was in full Strat territory, and it was like, because I wanted another, this was the first of the studio sounds. This was the first one. I thought, I'm going to get a Strat, I'm going to get a telly, because these things are achievable on a budget, and because I did a total bits of caster with both, like I was able to do quite well. But like where the Ibanez Geo was very much like the Yamaha here, you know. Now I was into full Strat mode with all the Heath Robinson nonsense, right, and all those little sounds, and it didn't take me long to start falling in love with it. Just using the humbucker, by the way, just to, you know, get that proper flavour. But yeah, it pushed me in another direction. And then now recently, you know, this Strat, been using it to death, and you know, oh god, I've written so much material on that ESPokai. Just this guitar, so much material's been written on this, more than any other guitar. And this features in the very first. If you want to see its early configuration, 3 single coils. When go to my very first YouTube video, No Escape, and you'll hear it. Like, and you can hear me, like, you know, really capitalising on that single coil sound. And then, of course, recently we got this. Now, you know, when you think, okay, yeah, the Flying V's heavy, the Yamaha's heavy, the fucking LTD's really heavy, and that ESP is really heavy, and then you hear this. Yeah, this is king. Like, this is such a filthy sound. Like, it's got so much metallic dynamic, it's got so much wood and air dynamic. Like, this is something else. This is really something else. Both the Strats are really good, but the ESP is predictable. Like it's good, and I can dig into it. It's like I got offered a Fender, and I had a choice of about 4, and it's a friend of my girlfriend's. And he was like, you can pay me in bits, you know, you can take it now and pay me in bits. And I come home and overnight to think about it, and I kind of picked one that I liked the most. I liked his like seafoam green one the most, and he didn't seem that excited by that. So it all looked like it was, yeah. And And you know, because I actually thought at some point I'm going to have to get on board a proper Fender Strat. But like I came home after spending like, you know, the weekend on all of his Strats, and I come back to the ESP and I plugged it in and it was like coming home. And I was like, I don't need another Strat, and I don't need to get in debt with anyone. It's like, I've got a fucking really good Strat. Like, it really hit it home, like, you know, because it was like I was tenderfoot, like, on how well I'd done with it. But having played, you know, all of those proper Fenders, and they were nice, that was better. For me, right? That is better. And now this, it's not predictable like the ESP. It's got all of the features of the ESPokai, but it has that something extra that some guitars have. Not many, and some. It has a little bit of this magic. Does stuff that's unpredictable. Like, this is a really wonderful guitar. I am so happy with this. I'm so happy. I'm amazed now that I spent so much and ahhing. Why didn't I just get it straight away? You know, I did so much research and all this homework, and it had to be right because of, like, you know, is it really a 70s Strat? Is it really a Matsumoto 70s Strat? Now I couldn't give a fuck. I couldn't give a fuck if it was built last week in the worst, like, out country bit of China workshop. Couldn't care less. Okay, this is a really wonderful Strat for me, and the thing that it's done is it's brought me completely round to this. Is crazy. All these guitars, I'm up to 14 now, right? We're going to go up to probably about 20. I'd say more than 20 but less than 25. I think we're going to be around 21, 22 is my prediction when it comes. But we're grinding to a halt now. We're coming to a stop. There's been speedy right now we're coming to the end, you know. But basically, this is horrible to tell you this, but I could do everything, and might do, with just these. Every bit of recording, because like some of the best clean sounds are there, and some of the best dirty sounds are there. So why not? And then this is what I'm going to use at gigs. More like visually more neutral than the LTDs. Now the LTDs ain't going to be taken out of the game. I love them, right? I love them both. The black one needs something doing to the pickup, but like that's by the by. They're 24 fret. They are like virtuoso guitars. Putting Meg back together the other day was the name of the Gunsmoke blue one, the F type. Blue one's called Meg and the black one's called Sheila. Right? Putting Meg back together, getting her frets back on again after all this time, it's been a long time, and doing the little upgrade. I fucking adore that guitar, you know. I really do. But the fact is, I'm all switched on to Strats, and it's like, you know, there's been like I was offline for like 3 or 4 days. I was songwriting with these Strats, you know, and like they are a little bit different, but they're also equal. Like, you know, it's like what you have here is like an 80s Strat pretending to be a 50s, and a 70s Strat pretending to be a 70s, and it's like all the details are right. All of the details are right. I'm not big on the bigger headstock like that, you know. But man, like fucking, you know, you can see the bird's eye in the maple. It's like fucking. These are two incredibly well-made Strats, and you can try these out any day of the week, right? You can come and try these out and put them next to your own Strat and tell me what you think, you know, because I'm not frightened to throw these in the deep end of like playable Strats. These are my Strats now, and I never expected to be in the most boring colour. Like they're both, you know, this tobacco sunburst. This one's more interesting. You don't see this colour much. This sort of like deep sort of auburn, you know. It's like, you know, the red is sort of like kind of mixed into the rest of it, and it's just the black and the red. I kind of like that. And it's unusual. And also bear in mind, this is a mahogany body. Now this one, you know, it's got the red. This is the classic 3-colour sunburst, which I've never liked, but actually holding it and it being in my hand, I adore it. Now what I'm going to do, they're staying exactly as they are, but they're both going to get tortoiseshell scratch plates, and they'll be identifiable by the colour of the, you know, the switch gear and the pickups and stuff. So one will have the black switch gear and one will have the white, but they'll both be tortoiseshell, and that's going to be the pairing. Now, that doesn't look very thrashy, I know, But trust me, when I'm playing it and it's under stage lights and it's atmospheric and I'm in my stage gear, you'll get what they're about, because they sound like what they look like. Super warm, you know, super warm, super unusual. Like, you know, I couldn't be happier. Like, and it's interesting as well that it's all gone back to Strats. You know, like we've gone the roundabouts and all these guitars, and really I could just Strat with a humbucker in it and shut up. I'm all good. You know, I wanted to basically like talk about heavy metal guitars and get into this whole business of the Strat. not many people use Strats for thrash. Gary Holt's an early one, and it's unusual because I admire Gary Holt so much. You know, there are a few like you know, Fast Eddie, fucking Motorhead, very famously. Yeah, like there's oh, is it Obituary? I think there is a thrash band that, like there's 3 guitarists and 2 of them use Strats. And they're a super heavy band, but like it's very rare, it's very unusual. It's rare enough for even to see a single coil at the neck. That was something that, you know, I used to spot, and you know, and that's what's so great about the F-Type is this, you know, humbucker at the bridge, single coil at the neck. I also like the position of like where the single coil is, and I know it's a hot rail, but like yeah, on the black one it's a single coil. But anyway. Fucking, don't you think she looks marvellous, old Meg? Isn't she such a beast? But yeah, I mean, you know, and I haven't got into some of the, you know, like possibly like the 2 best like heavy metal guitars here. You know, I didn't feature. Well, there's the Les Paul for a start, the Silverburst. You know, that's obviously a complete and utter beast. You know, and this is like I'm doing a video soon, like just about the pickups. This like because like there's another thank you video coming up soon. But you know, this is obviously an insane heavy metal guitar, as like all Les Pauls are, but like that one in particular, because it's tweaked that way, especially now. This is a completely brilliant heavy metal guitar, very much in the mode of Josh Duplantier from Gajira, which is why I bought this guitar. I've told the story many times, but I'll say it again. I was like really intrigued by, let's hear it for fuck's sake. I was really intrigued by the Gajira sound, and you know, the band as a whole. And Josh Duplantier, you know, the lead guitarist uses like a fucking Jackson Randy Rhoads with Flying V with like a single humbucker, and then like, you know, the other guitar player, singer, Josh Duplantier, uses this like Charvel Telecaster with 2 humbuckers, and like I've seen him with an Evertune, I've seen him with a standard solid bridge, and I've seen him with like the Gibson type bridge, which is where he seems to have settled on, and a standard like, you know, tele control plate, and I thought, oh, I'd love to have a guitar like that. And then literally that same month, this cropped up in my normal guitar brokers. Great when you just pick them up and they're in tune, right? I mean, this has the most authentic, like, 80s hair metal tone, like it really does, out of all the guitars here. And, you know, I've used it for recording a lot. I'm glad I took the silly orange sticker off, because, yeah, it's a Stagg, so fucking what, deal with it. This is one of my favourite guitars, puts me in a good mood just to look at it. In fact, I'm going to leave that out. And, of course, the other one, which hasn't got a look in, is the Golden Goose, which is another fucking incredible, like, you know, like the whole Floyd Rose thing. Like, you know, Gary Holt now uses like guitars with Floyd, basically little Les Pauls with Floyd Roses on them, and like, you know, the low end on it, just you know, you don't get it on anything else really. But yeah, that's about it. I just really wanted to talk about the evolution of my sound and how it's got to where it is now and where I'm at, and I'm very much at Strats. The Yamaha is usually the first guitar I pick up in the day. It has been for a long time, and it usually points me to another guitar, and you know, a lot of the time it's a Strat. I mean, I use everything in here, like a lot. But it's starting to feel like, you know, where the F-types were the centerpiece and everything rotated around the F-types. Now it kind of feels more like the Strats are at the center and everything revolves around them. And the F-types are like, oh, okay, so this is like a departure, but wow. So yeah, basically I'm in the land of like 3 pairs, because like, you know, there's the dual humbucker pairing. If I want to go full Gibson, I've got the V and the Les Paul. You know, there's the Strat pairing, which is 2 HSS Strats that are very, and you've got the F-type pairing. So you know, and if I wanted to go crazy, you know, I've got like 2 of a lot of things, but you know, 2 precision basses. Anyway, I'm waffling now. Yeah, there's one more thank you video to come up, and that's about it. So send my love all around the country to all of its different parts, and all of its different peoples, and people out there I love very much. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy some visits around the country of different places and things, get some gigs organised, and what can I say? Love you.